What's up, y'all? It's your boy Juro, and today is the 12th of May, 2015. How you doing? Doing all right? Yeah, your boy looking a little crazy right now because I'm about to start my day. But I just stepped out of the shower, and you know, I'm just so amazed how the power of discernment is. I'm a firm believer that when God wants you to know, He will reveal it when He wishes to. We don't have no control of that. Only thing we have control of is our free will, the right to choose. And because we live on this planet, we are already uh, inundated to make bad choices. And until we decide to connect, when we decide to make that oh so important decision in our lives to seek something that cannot be found on this planet, can we finally have the clarity and gifts that are rightfully placed with our name. That is when clarity comes. That's when peace is understood. I know some of y'all are at the point that you are tired of being tired. I know I'm talking to somebody, and how can I say this? You dream about a good night's rest. Yeah, I know I'm talking to somebody. Bear with me, y'all. You want just to have that normal life, but there is a problem with that. Bear with me. See, the problem with that is you can't have the life like your neighbor. You can't have what you see your friends doing. You can't have what your family member has. You can emulate, you can have a commonality, but what is yours is yours. Your reference point, your viewpoint, your life. That's why it's precious. That's why it is so important to go within. But far too many times, we allow things that have no merit, no value, to consume our undivided time, our life force, our energy. And we spend just as much time trying to figure it out. And you know what? I don't blame you. I was there, but then I came to understand something too. See, nothing happens by chance. Please believe that. I know that viewpoints are thrown around, and I can't, and I will not have a judging heart on that. But I also have come to learn in my walk that they're words used to pick, display, and reference the same ideology. You know what I'm saying? Is it by chance or is it coincidence that somebody in Bangladesh is talking about the same thing that you're talking about in Seattle, Washington? No, because all roads, short, curved, bumpy, or straight lined, all meet at the same place. All talk about the same thing. But there's one thing that separates a lot of what's being put out there. A lot of the stuff that's being put out is not authentic. And I say that because they lack transparency. I'll break it down. Do you think for 1 second that your life, you were brought on this planet, which was a blessing in itself, to suffer, to cause hardship to other people, to attract hardship back into your life? Do you think that that's your life purpose? I'll do you one better. Do you believe that you were brought on this planet not to be loved, not to share love, not to have that intimate connection, starting with the Most High? I know Him as my Lord Jesus Christ. I've come to learn this, y'all, in my walk, is that this thing right here, hold on, this beloved, this beloved manuscript, this, I could turn around and walk in an auditorium and give this to somebody just to read a paragraph. And I guarantee you, by the time it gets back to me, there will be different interpretations as well as commonalities. Which brings me back to this. Far too many times we get distracted on the messenger and don't understand or embrace the message. See, I've come to learn this. My higher power, as I know Him as my Lord Jesus Christ, will use anything He has to get your attention. Even disappointment, y'all. Even disappointment. That's why I'm a firm believer, and I'd say this to everybody. There's even a blessing found in disappointment. But you got to be still. You've got to have a position inside yourself to allow yourself to be vulnerable to receive whatever that message is. That message might be the one message at the decisive time that will save your life. Come on now. Let's be real. What do you always hear people say? A hater's job is never done. But you know what? I go a little deeper on that one. I agree, a hater's job is never done. But if you're focusing on yourself, doesn't matter. They don't have any relevance in your life. If anything, your dedication to your life, to authenticate your life, they may learn something. It may rub off on them. It just might, in the intended time, they might just get it. There's a reason for that, y'all. It's because you got to make a conscious decision to see your self-worth, to see your value in your life. Nobody can do that for you but you. So let's turn the corner on that. I know somebody, in a figurative sense, because there's really a consensus felt all around the world. In silence, they're suffering because they want to feel validated. They want to feel loved. But guess what? The most important person in that paradigm is you. So, you want love? Start loving on yourself. That doesn't make you selfish. That just defines that you see your worth. If you don't take care of you, you can't expect your environment to take care of you unless you are embracing a position of enablement. See, some of y'all got tricked, and I say this out of love. See, somebody that you had an unconditional love for convinced you you weren't worthy to be loved, and they took you through some things. Some of y'all are still dealing with the traumas that happened long ago. And that trauma set a precedence on your perception on how you see and deal with people. See, two things occurred in that. Number one, you didn't have your boundaries in perspective. Number two, you were being taken advantage of. Number three, you didn't want to take accountability for your choices. That's why, other than loving yourself, the second greatest gift you can ever be bestowed by God is free will. That's why when you hear people say, oh, it just happened. No, it didn't. Do not fool yourself. I'm saying this out of compassion. Don't let them run that BS by you. Because I'm going to tell you something. Before anything is manifested into an action, it must first be manifested as a thought. Let me run that by somebody again so because you missed it. Before anything can be manifested into an action, it must first be manifested as a thought. So guess what? Something had to plant the seed into your mind. But trust this. If it wasn't of God, then guess who it was from? Why do you think do you actually think it's coincidental that you attract to certain people that do not show compassion? Do not have the courage to speak their truth? How about this? They don't show love. That's no coincidence. The reason why you're seeing this is because there is a like-mindedness there. That like-mindedness may be no more than a soul tie. It may be a stronghold. Now let me turn the corner on this because while I'm feeling this in my spirit, I've come to learn this too. I also know this. I know that some of y'all have gone through great trials and tribulations early in your life. Some have had to deal with abuse. Some have had to deal with abandonment. Some have pretty much felt like you were the only person on this world. No one understood you. No one cared about you. And you've got this burden. Let me tell you something. See, the devil is like a lion waiting in the brush. And guess what? He already knows what you're going to do too. He already knows what your desires are. That's why you see the same caliber type of person try to enter in your life to stimulate and titillate your senses only to leave them broken. Why? Because you're under spiritual attack. So let's go back to what I was getting ready to say. Some of you have had to deal with some of the most downright traumatic things in your life at a young age. But what you don't realize is this. Even if your body was attacked touched whatever it was. What was trying to be assimilated in you was the attack for your mind. It is no secret why we have the habits that we do. They start from inside our mind. They are planted there. Some by the fight or flight psychological response, or let's call it for what it is, spiritual connection. See, a lot of people don't think that they just, if they don't see it, if they don't feel it, it's not real. Well, let me ask you this. How many times do you got to rub your face, scratch your head, or do you one better? Look in your wallet to see the reality that something ain't right. Why? Because there's a stronghold there. So let's moonwalk backwards a little more. So some of y'all that may have had to go through great losses, great disappointments early in your life, there was a reason for that. The reason is because, see, that devil, he already knows who you're going to become. Some of y'all don't even realize how great you're going to be because you have this fog over your spirit. And as long as he has you distracted, he uses that as a spiritual skeleton key to go right inside your life and bring the right people in to cause havoc. Come on, my queens. You know what I'm talking about. Inside your mind, you've already said, I like this type of man. He got to look like this, that, this, and another. And then coincidentally, he does this. And you are head over heels. He stimulates you from the top of your head down to your toes. You are happy. You think your dreams have come true. But then slowly but surely, the view erodes. Slowly but surely, the things that you thought were solid are not. But we don't take accountability because things just happen, right? Okay. If it feels like you're putting more energy to get less back, that is what we also know as a karmic relationship. But in other words, that ain't nothing but a soul tie. That ain't nothing but two people joined together through lust. So in other words, it's not blessed. So that's why you go through the season. You meet all these people. They tell you everything that you want to hear. But not one time does their actions validate it. I know I'm talking to somebody. Is that by chance? No, I don't think so. It is going on to teach you what not to do. It is going on so that you can see that you don't have the boundaries in place. It's going on because you refuse to take accountability for your choices. Everything is connected to everything. And guess what? The common denominator is you. So the question I want to ask you is this. Why won't you love yourself? How much abuse you got to go through? Why is it that you feel that this is the end all, be all? Hmm? Why? Don't you realize the devil's a liar? That's why the people in your environment will never speak their truth. They'll always tell you what you want to hear, but it will never come from their heart. You know why? Because they don't see your worth. So if they don't see your worth, guess what? They don't see theirs. And they're going to plead, and you're going to constantly go through this battle of playing chess. You take a move, I take two moves back. You spend your days tiresome, always looking over your shoulder, Always going to have to remember what you had to say to that person. Always not being at peace. Why? Do you think your life was to play the role of the martyr? Or maybe if you decide to be still, allow yourself to take accountability for the choices you made, will the insight come from it? The commonality will be shown, and the wisdom will be forged inside you. All these things I just described is also goes in the same linear connection with people. Each one teach one. That's why you hear that old wives' tale, or what your grandmother or grandfather or someone of significance that you loved, they'll always say, if you see somebody fall in a hole, you're going to fall right with them, or you're going to learn from their mistake. Your heart should not be the bargaining chip. Your body should not be something that is easily thrown away like used tissue. Maybe now is the time that you'll be real with yourself. Because guess what? There's a part of you that you have not even stepped into. If you're going through a struggle right now, whatever it is, maybe your finances, maybe it's your emotions. And I always say this, if you work a full-time job, you paying for insurance. Give the best gift you can ever give yourself and go talk to somebody. Stop worrying about what the stigma is. That don't make you crazy. What makes you crazy is to not get a second opinion. That makes you foolish. But I know in our community, anything that has to do with mental well-being, we're afraid of it. Just like in other communities, when they see a minority, they're afraid of it. When you don't realize the commonality is maybe that person can teach you something. What is wisdom? What is knowledge not shared? It's a waste. So let's get back to you, because you're not a waste. Your life is priceless. No one will have your experience. No one will see what you see but you. The common thread will be the viewpoint, the understanding. But it does not matter unless you claim your life. My queens, I can't echo this enough. Stop looking for your mate. Stop. I know somebody saying, I don't want to hear that. The reason I tell you that is you will not find what you need. You will only attract what you want. If you want your man, the one, then start looking in yourself. Start aligning yourself with God and watch who he brings into your life. See, some of y'all don't even realize, some of y'all may have already met your husband, didn't even know it. But I'm going to tell you who ain't going to tell you. Those dating sites, they make millions of dollars off of your insecurities. But here's the one thing that they will never give credit to. Excuse me. You see, God don't need your help to bring the one into your life. Did you hear what I said? God don't need your help to bring the one into your life. Because see, the one that's going to come into your life already has your name written on their heart, written on their spirit. And they're going to use that as a navigation to find you. It doesn't matter
what you look like on the outside. Let me tell you something, and I'm gonna put this out there, and this is my opinion. Some people ain't gonna like it, but queens, please do yourself the best favor you can do yourself. Invest in who you are. Stop getting caught up on what you see on TV. Because I'm gonna tell you what. First of all, a spiritual man, he don't he already knows that the person he's gonna invest in, and I'm talking being yoked, is found inside you, not outside you. Did you hear what I'm saying? So what you're gonna watch is you're gonna see a whole lot of women by themselves, still with that same plastic shape, wearing wigs to the side. Yeah, I said it. Because even in the Bible it says your hair is your crown and glory. So why do you hide it? What are you ashamed of? Excuse me. Why are you so ashamed of yourself that you must hide it? You want long hair? Grow it. This is 2 years right here for me. You're looking at a man that stayed in the barber shop once a week. Yeah, I was like that. I kept my fade on point. But then God walked into my life and said, nope, I'm going to reveal your purpose. And I'm going to teach you patience. Ain't no better way to show patience than to grow your hair. If someone had told me this 3 years ago, I would have looked at him like, what? I'm a veteran. It's all about keeping yourself on point. I'm disciplined. But oh, did my heart hurt. Oh, did I not have clarity. And oh, did I walk the walk of the common man. See, at the end of the day, my kings, this goes to you. You're going to come to understand this. It doesn't matter what's found in your wallet. What matters the most is what's found in your steps and what is defined by your heart. But your most prized possession is going to be this, and that's your last name. See, don't get caught up in the women in the cheap seats because they're going to sit up here and say, well, I don't need a man. I can do it on my own. And you're going to watch them be by themselves because all they're going to do is attract Mr. Wrong. And ladies, we already know Mr. Wrong don't care. He will never love you. He will use you up to leave your body broken, swollen, and mentally disheveled. So it behooves you to make a conscious decision to say, now is the day that I'm going to stop running for myself. Now is the day that I'm going to take accountability for everything I've done. Because when you decide to make a conscious decision to take accountability of everything you've done, you'll notice this commonality. Look at every person that is in your life that is not connected to you by blood. And then from that person, look at the person before them, and you will see a common thread that will scream why you are where you are now. You don't deserve that. You're not supposed to be the scapegoat. You're not someone's baby mother. You have a name. My kings, even though you're not with your mother, give her the respect. She carried your child. But it's her responsibility to grow as well as you. Lastly, if you don't have a relationship with God, it doesn't matter what I tell you, but I can tell you this. You know that inkling that you feel in your spirit? You know that feeling that you get from time to time that you feel like no one understands you, like you talking in a foreign tongue? You know that response you get when you're around your friends, like they don't respect you? There's a reason for that. The reason is you're not protected. See, God protects his own. He don't care about your status. He don't care where you from. He loves you because you will come to understand. See, before you had the breath of life, he gave it to you. He picked out your parents. I know somebody saying, well, my parents suck, Gerald. They suck. I don't want to have nothing to do with them. See, you got to understand something. Sometimes God will take the most broken people to come together to make the biggest blessing. And that's you. You're never too old to learn. So let your steps be the inspiration for your family. You might be the family matriarch and don't even know it. But all the signs are there. You're the one that everybody comes to for advice. They look at your example. You probably be like, why is he copying me? I told him that, but I didn't mean he was going to do it. It's because you're going to be the one that's going to set the precedence, or you're going to be the one that's going to free your family from that generational cycle. Better known as a generational curse. Once again, each one teach one. That's why they always say this: a family that prays together stays together. So it's very important that you see your worth. Speak your truth and lean not on your expectation, but lean under his understanding. And if you do those three things, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be a great shift in your environment. Because, see, there's a choice. And remember, I said we got free will, y'all. You're going to have some people that like the world the way it is. They like where their life is without God's presence. And they're going to try everything in their power to convince you not to grow. You got to see your worth. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to wrap this up. People don't make people change. We can only inspire them. You have to consciously want to change for yourself. So if you're ready to take that stone out of your heart, you're ready to take that burden off your shoulders, call on him. He's waiting to connect on you. He's waiting to show you what you haven't seen, what has been in plain sight. He's going to give you a perspective that is going to quench that thirst inside your heart to feel whole. My queens, no man has the ability to complete you. They only validate your state of mind. So if your state of mind is erratic, if it's broken, guess what? That's what you're going to attract. And don't you deserve better? My kings, you got that last name for a reason. But you can't call yourself a man if you're not willing to kneel before him. So guess what? There are more to you that you don't even go there about. Your emotions. You have more emotions than just anger and joy. We're like onions, y'all. There's so many layers of emotional display. But if you don't understand them, guess what? You'll do like so many other people. You won't feel safe emotionally. See, It ain't no secret. Let's call a spade, and I'm gonna shut up. See, society doesn't want a man to embrace his spiritual walk because they see him as a threat. They see him for a threat because he's going to make sound decisions. Eventually, he's going to have a family, and he's going to govern over them. And his offspring are going to also make sound decisions. His If he has daughters, they're going to respect themselves because not only do they fear rejection from their father, they they feel they fear rejection from God. That's what favor is all about. That's what peace of mind is all about. So, as I close, don't you think your life deserves the harmony rightfully intended? Because the moment you took your first breath, your legacy was already written. And the person that you're going to become is relying on you to make sound decisions today. Because you can't get back yesterday. You can't get back these 36 minutes I just shared. So, now's the time you start forgiving. Queen, let me tell you something. It don't matter how many men you slept with. It don't. Kings, it don't. It does not. Because I'm going to tell you what. The moment you forgive yourself, ask for forgiveness for the things you've done. That just brings one step closer to the person that's going to take you the other side of your life. And guess what? They're going to love you unconditionally. Mm-mm. They're going to be the setup for the breakthrough. Yeah. But it can't happen until you claim your life. Speak your truth, y'all. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, for that, for that, it helps me discern mine. You actually think your life is happening the way you think everything just happens just by chance? You better acknowledge that look, I'm gonna say this and shut up. Here's your validation that there is something greater than you. Think about that moment when you actually was looking at your mortality and then something happened and got you up out of there. That was God. Stay blessed, y'all.